You've seen the videos. A house frozen in time, bloodstains on the floor, secret rooms, and a man who murdered his entire family. Or so they claimed. For years, YouTubers said that this was a triple murder house. That a father snapped, that this abandoned home in Chorley had a dark past. But they were wrong about the house, the town, and the entire story. Be sure to subscribe if you're ready to uncover what really happened, because what we found changes everything in this two-part series. So guys, we found the elusive, or what used to be the elusive YouTuber house, as I'm dubbing it. People would lie and tell tales about what used to be here, which was in fact just an abandoned building for 70 odd years, which people, whether intentionally or accidentally, confused with the Ormesher case from Ormskirk. People previously referred to this as the Three Sister Murder House, which was actually referring to a story about two sisters that were murdered in Ormskirk, Ivydene building. And for some reason, people latched on, whether or not, again, intentional or not, latched on to the concept that it was this property that's in Chorley. It's since been demolished, sat there for 75 years, and later demolished. As soon as I decided I want to be able to investigate it. Beautiful property being put here though. Multiple, in fact. Look at this. Huge property being built. So again, two sisters were murdered in a property in Ormskirk. And then there was an abandoned building here in Chorley for 75 years, I think it was, and people would explore here and do paranormal investigations and such, and tie it to the story of those sisters, referring to it again as the Three Sister Murder House, even though there's only two, and use it for, I suppose, clout, clickbait. I don't know, it was a crazy, creepy story, and many people believed it was to have been taking place here in Chorley. Funnily enough, they actually, in the video descriptions of these videos, they even listed it as Chorley, but then in the description would refer to Ormskirk and its story, which is what originally kind of caught me onto the wind of it, because it was saying it was in Chorley. So I was interested to try and explore it myself. Could not find a reference of it anywhere. Even went to Ormskirk and investigated for most of a day, trying to find the original, and that's coming up in a future video, because I have actually found what most people have not: the original home of the Ormesher sisters, and the story with interviews of the sisters, and that'll be coming up in a future video. This was a property known on Wall Lane, Chorley. For nearly 70 years, it stood abandoned, a crumbling shell. Paranormal channels swarmed it, urban explorers filmed its decay, and with that came a legend. They called it the Three Sisters Murder House. Some said it was a father, others the brother. The story seemed to change depending on who told it. But no matter who shared it, one thing stayed the same. They all had the wrong house, the wrong town, and the wrong story. We couldn't find a single news report, no death record, no police archive linking this place to any murders. So I started digging through planning records, old maps, grave registries, and what I uncovered wasn't just a case of lazy storytelling. It was a forgotten truth. Because the real murder didn't happen in Chorley at all. It happened here, Ormskirk, hidden behind two cottages down a narrow alley. I feel this story deserves to be told properly, respectfully, to the two sisters who were murdered on that night of May 1956. This is Ivydene, a 10-room former pub turned family home. On the night of May 5th, 1956, two sisters, Mary and Margaret Ormesher, were bludgeoned to death here. The case made national headlines. Thousands of men fingerprinted, a single bloody print left behind. No arrests were ever made. So how did the story become twisted into something it never was? And why do so few people even know their names? We here at Case Unrested visited their grave and paid our respects. It rests quietly at the edge of Ormskirk beneath an old tree. However, we will be discussing our trip here in more detail in the part 2 of this series, where we will be covering in complete detail the whole case of the Ormesher sisters. Whilst we were here, we turned on our Spirit Talker app, and the first name it gave us was Joseph. Huh?
Joseph.
No. Tell me you're kidding. Dear husband and dad, Joseph Jump.
But yeah, put it down so I can say it on mine.
At first this meant nothing really. However, 2 graves down, we find a gentleman buried there named Joseph Jump. After that, we got almost nothing. Silence. A few scattered words, but in a place like this, that silence felt louder than anything. We were unable to communicate with Mary and Margaret Ormesher at this time. The YouTube videos that you may have seen certainly got the views and the clicks, and it certainly spread the myths, but definitely not the truth. This video today isn't about blaming creators by any means. It's about setting the record straight because 2 women really died and their case still hasn't been solved. And yet their story was almost lost, buried beneath the rubble of a house they never set foot in. I'm not saying that this story was told incorrectly on purpose or with any ill intent. What I imagine happened was, at some point during those 70 years, one explorer connected the dots incorrectly and then everybody else followed suit without full due diligence. However, I have no doubt that some people picked up on this point and didn't mind blurring the lines just a little bit. In our next video, we're telling the full story, not the myth, but the truth, the timeline, the suspects, the one bloody fingerprint left behind. It's been nearly 70 years and nobody has ever been arrested despite someone coming forward 21 years later with a name. This is the case of Mary and Margaret Ormesher, 2 sisters murdered in their home and forgotten. Subscribe to Case Unrested and help us bring their story back into the light. Stay curious, stay creepy, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.